Hi, this is Zach from Docusoft. Today I'll be looking at the Outlook add-in, and the module I'll be covering is how it links to our practice manager or CRM system. So on this main screen you'll see that we've got some add-in bits over here. They're covered in another module. Please watch the video. Along the top here we've got tabs. We've got a Docusoft tab, which is part of the add-in. And then I've covered this in another module as well, but what we're going to be looking at today is these three options here. So the great thing about this is it's now giving you a way of working from Outlook and still being able to access your practice manager. So we'll start with the reference list. If I click on the reference list, what it does is it brings up a live picture of of our cloud software. So you're going straight into the practice manager from Outlook. So if I make this bigger, you'll see this is a full CRM function pretty much compared to what you're getting in the cloud. So I'll run through some of the options here. So this reference button here, this is adding a new client to the system. So if you click on that, it'll take you to the cloud. So it's a shortcut to set up a new client onto the system. So you'll see that's jumped to my Google Chrome and it logs you straight in. And you'll see here I'm ready to add that client. Secondly, if we select a client, so if I look at, for instance, Hill Premier Accountants, once I've selected a client, you'll see that most of this is lit up now. So I've got the details button so I can check a link to the client card. So if I click on the details, it'll take you to the client card in our cloud software where you can update the client. So it's taken me to his page, and then I can update any of this information that I need to and any of the user-defined fields that we've had set up. So this is very accountancy based at the moment. So I can now change any details and then hit the submit button and that will change it. Also, we've got standard letter. So this standard letter is using one of the templates that you'll have set up previously. So again, we'll look at one of my other videos where we're talking about standard letters and mail merges, and you'll be able to see how to create a new standard letter. So I've got Hill Premier Accountants selected. If I click on the standard letter, what this will do is it will bring me up a screen where I can choose one of the templates that we've got saved under the clients. Choose a template. So for instance, let's look at the portal sign and approve one. And you'll see let's look at a different one. So you've got the hello first name, please find enclosed documents required for your signature. My colleague Robin set this up. So now if I click on the Hill Premier Accountants, because he was selected when I clicked on it, it's filled in the contact's name, hello James. And at this point, I can either print this, I can export it to PDF, so that you can then do what you want with it. So this could be a letter of engagement, so you could export it to PDF or export it to Word, or you can send it directly to Docusoft to save into the system and file it into our DMS. So it's very simple. If I click on send to Docusoft, I can add an attachment to this now as well. And then I hit the finish and merge, and then that will bring up the filing structure to file it. Same as if I export it to Word, click finish and merge, it's being completed, and it will then bring up Word with what we've just created. And I'll drag that into view. So that's created that for us. We've also got email here. So again, you select a contact, and if I select a client and I click email, it'll take me directly to email and will have filled their details in. So I'll get a pop-up email, so I'm filling it in. give it a subject, and file it on send if needs be. To file from Outlook, look at one of my other videos for the filing on the add-in. Then we've got edit notes. So this is, if I click on the edit notes button, this will give you a pop-up to edit the notes. So he hasn't got any notes for the second, but I could create in here and hit save. And then that shows up. If I go on to details for Hill Premier, I'll show you where this was would have shown up. So with all of these tags, if I go to the notes one here, this is where that would be editing or creating a note for you. So it's just a shortcut to add that without actually having to come into the cloud software. Also, we've got add activity. So you can create a communication or a mail. So you could say call made to client and write something about that call and maybe give it a date, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be date stamped anyway. You click save and that will add an activity to the system. And again, if I look at Hill Premier and go details, once that loads up, if I go on the filing drawer picture there, you'll see that's an activity that I've created. So you can have all the activities and documents show up in this bit, but that's an activity of today's date that I've created. We've also got maps, so that will use the client's postcode and just take you to Google Maps. So it's just a shortcut to the client's postcode. So that's going into maps.google and it's just pinpointed the postcode for that client. And then this is just to say it's showing active references or active clients or inactive or hidden ones, or you can have it showing all references. I can get to contacts from here, so I could select a load or one and hit selected, and it'll take me to the contact screen instead, but we'll look at the contact screen in a minute anyway. You can refresh from here, so just refreshing the page, and you can export to Excel, so I can export this list to Excel. The next bit is views. So in the Practice Manager, you can create views to look at. And so the next time you come in, you would just go on views and choose a view that you've created. I've already created one in here, but this won't, what you make as a view on this bit won't show in the Practice Manager. So this is an Outlook add-in view. So they're different views. So if I've created one already, but I'm going to show you how to. So on this screen, I can move information around. So I can move columns where I want them. I can also, as you'll see, you'll have every user-defined field on accountancy at the moment coming across here. So I could go, right, I want to add, if I right click on here and go column chooser, I can drag columns out and put them into the chooser. So I could do corporation tax amount, tax due, HMRC. So I'm just taking them out of the system and putting them into the column chooser. And then what you do, you can scroll to the front of the page and drop them in where you want them, like so. So you can create a view of how you want the view to be. And then once you're happy with a view, you can put filters in it as well. So I could have it filtered by tax due HMRC year end. If I click on it, it'll ascend or descend it, so I can have it in order. And then if I want to save that view now, I can just go up here, go to the save as a new view, and then give it a name. So test view. So that's now saved. So next time I come into here, it'll have taken me to the default. when my internet finally catches up with me. So it's taken me to my default view, and then I can jump between the view I've just created, test view, or as I've put in before, a year-end dates. So it brings all of the year-end dates for all the different tax periods to the front here, and then I can ascend and descend on accounts period end and work through a list, or I can filter via a certain company here, put anything beginning with H. So possibilities are endless. And then once you've created a view, you may be looking at HMRC year end and you want to get it to Outlook, you can then export that list out or with that view attached to it. You can delete views from here, and then you can reset the views as well. So that's the references part. So it's really useful. It means that you're not having to jump into the actual system. You can work directly from Outlook. Also, we've got the merge button on here. So we showed you the standard letter, but the merge, if I highlight a load in one go that I need to do a mail merge for, or whichever type of merge, I might want to set up a standard letter for all of them. It takes you to this page. Oh, I just clicked off of it. Let me jump back in. It takes you to this page again. I can select a template, letter headed intro. Let's have a look at that one. Perfect. So this has got first name, last name, company name, and all the fields on it for merge fields. So then I can, if I select one of these, it will fill in their details. Let's look at one that will have more details in it. So it's got the full address and everything. Dear James Hill. At this point, I could highlight all of these and then export them to Word. So I'll get a Word document of them all, or I can send them to Docusoft, or I can print them all, or export them to a PDF. So it's very simple to do a load in one go. Next, if we look at the contact screen, so contact list. So this is all the contacts for those references. So once this loads up and catches up with me, we'll have a full contact list. So each client may have 5 or 6 contacts. So if you go into the contact list, you can still see the company name. So you see here, Aaron Cleaning Services, there's 5 contacts here. And again, all the filters work the same. I can create views from within here, and it's pretty much the same sort of information. So I've got the add contact. It will only let me add a contact if I've highlighted one already, because it's going to use the company name against it. So if I, for instance, clicked on Able Recovery, and then I went to add a contact, it will add a contact for Able Recovery. So it'll just take you to that contact screen ready to add it. So you see here, it's letting me create that contact. Otherwise, all the other details are pretty much the same. I can delete a contact from here. I can jump to their details as we did in the client side of things. And we can also do a standard letter. I can email them as before, the map, set up all the views. The only thing that I would say is worth me showing you, if I jump to a different folder down here, so if I go to my customer folder, it's got less contacts in, and I want to actually send a mail merge, so an email merge to a load of my contacts, I can highlight the contacts I want to send it to. So I'm going to send one to that one, to that one, and I'm just holding down control and clicking on the ones I want. And let's do that one as well. If I click on the merge button now, in the contact screen, you get an email part as well. So again, I've done a letter of engagement for a conveyancing company. So if I click on the letter of engagement conveyancing, highlight these three that I want to email, click the email button. At this point down here, I can add attachments as well. So for instance, I might want to add a couple of documents to it. So it'll add attachments to the email address, to the emails that we're about to send. It's got all the merge fields ready for it. All I would do now, you can do all the other things we did before, the export, or publish it to our portal to send it via the portal, or we can click on that email button, highlight it, choose what we want to fill on. I've put some attachments in, click finish and merge, and you'll see that fires over 3 emails out for me. So if I jump back to here, you'll see sending email, sending message 1, sending message 2, sending message 3. So you can do a full mail merge and send the emails out from our system here using a template. And you'll see if I go to my sent items now, you'll see that that's just fired those 3 out for me with the attachments on and with the name in, if they had a name as a contact. Zulu Chancer. And we also have a perform merge link up here. And that's pretty much what I've just shown you anyway, but you've got less options that you can do in it. So if I click on perform merge, it's popped up on my other screen, so I'll drag it across. From here, again, you can choose a template, but you've got the full client list here. I can't, or you can go contact merge and you get the full contacts. It's hard to filter it from here, to filter exactly who you want to send it to. This would be more for sending to a full list, but you would just click on the ones you want to send it from that list. Click on include in merge and it will add them down the bottom here, and then you can again PDF, Word, or send directly to Docusoft from here. The only other thing I wanted to show you, and that's this check for updates button. You should always be clicking on this when you see it and get a chance, because we're always updating our add-in and putting new features on there, normally every couple of weeks to every month, once a month. So it's just a way of you making sure you're on our latest add-in for Outlook. Thank you very much for listening. Please check out my other videos on Outlook add-ins, and we'll speak soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.